I've got a number of issues, three primary ones that our politicians and our current senators aren't standing up for the American people for. One is getting out of Afghanistan. 69% of people want it, won't even be debated. Another is Medicare for all. 59% of people have wanted it since before the so-called Obamacare passed, and still we don't have it. But the third that's most important in California is legalization of marijuana. Most people now in the United States favor simple legalization, and 77% of us favor medical marijuana without any criminal penalties. And we're not getting it. Feinstein is famously a drug warrior who views it only as a narcotic, and or as an interference with narcotics interdiction, and she's just not representing the people of California. I've had this campaign, and it's picking up steam. Getting every 2 minutes another person discovers it online, and we're picking up voters from more interest in social networks than Republican candidates who spent more than 10 times as much, and what's pretty exciting, it's for the June 5th primary. One of the key things to understand about this race, different from any previous Senate race, is it's a new top two rule under Proposition 14. So if Feinstein comes in first in the primary, that doesn't wipe me out just because I'm a Democrat. If I'm the runner-up, I'm on the ballot with her in November, and that's the runoff. So especially with 14 weak Republicans competing for the 2/5 red vote in California, there's a real shot. None of these people is breaking past 2%. There's a real shot that the newcomer on the scene with a popular policy can actually win or come in second and be one of the two winners of the June 5th primary. That's exactly the conclusion that me and the voters who support me have been coming to, and it's actually a workable solution in this race because of the funny new top two rule that's been presented. People don't have to say, oh gee, he's going to weaken Feinstein. In this particular race, she's so powerful. The first poll had her getting 51%, where everyone else was getting 1% and 2%. You simply can't drum up the usual fears of, oh no, if I don't vote for the evil Democrat, then the evil Republican will win. It's nothing like that. It's about voting for what you want. You want Medicare for all, like most Americans? Vote for David Levitt. You want out of Afghanistan? Beginning of next year, vote for David Levitt. You want medical marijuana to be decriminalized and marijuana itself to be decriminalized? Don't vote for anyone evil. This is a revolution in politics in a way, because the lesser of two evils thing has just gotten us what we have, and frankly, it's weakened the Democratic Party, where they're, instead of vote, it's like this freedom to marry thing. Obama was like, oh no, I've got to be more middle of the road. I'm not going to stand up for equal rights and civil rights, which many black civil rights people considered barely forgivable. But now that he is for freedom to marry, he's got a new power. People who were too disgusted to vote for Democrats or anyone else are like, oh, he's standing up for something. Now he needs to stand up for the other things that he promised to do, like marijuana users in California, and things that like healthcare that truly serves everyone, especially now that his Affordable Care Act is being declared unconstitutional. He needs to not go to the middle or to the right. He needs to go above, and that's what my campaign is trying to do. Don't go to the middle. Don't go to the right. Go to the things that Americans actually want.
And vote for what you believe in.
Vote for what you believe in. That's what gets people to come out. Democrats would do so much better if they just said, vote for what you believe in, rather than, I'll compromise and meet the Republicans halfway. That's not what people want.
And you can't waste your vote by voting for what you believe in.
That's the beauty of it. And especially in a race like this. Vote for what you believe in, and you'll have what you believe in on the ballot alongside Senator Feinstein.
So what would you say is the primary reason that people should vote for you?
Really, it's so that they can be represented. Really, it's so that they can be free of this lesser evil thing and actually express what polls show that they want. We never wanted a mandate for that requiring people to have health care. Many people considered that likely unconstitutional back when it was first passed. What we want is the kind of not-for-profit health care that they have in 35 other countries that works better. We walked out of Afghanistan. Nobody can figure out why we're still there. Osama bin Laden left there in 2004. It was a cruel, mistaken identity thing. There were no Afghanis on the 9/11 flights. We need to apologize to our soldiers and bring them home immediately, rescue them. We're mistreating veterans and soldiers by leaving them there any longer. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis said so. They're needless deaths if we don't rescue them ASAP. And let people have their medicine in California. Don't treat someone. I just talked with someone with neurofibromyalgia who's got tumors and was given so much morphine she couldn't walk to the bathroom until she discovered medical cannabis. Why would we arrest or torture these people who have such a tremendous need? It's like we're bullies. It's like we're grabbing the guy's asthma inhaler and throwing it away. We need to respect patients. We need to respect, and we need to be not so afraid of pleasure that we're going to say, oh, we'll abuse these patients because someone else might be having a good time. We need to eliminate the stigma of cannabis, especially medical cannabis, and give the American people what they want. Being a teacher and a leader, I've been an activist since I was a teenager during the Vietnam era, as were my parents in the Civil Rights era when their marriage was illegal in 28 states. But I've always been an activist. When I started, I went to Yale, graduated from there at 20, went to MIT, got a doctorate there, and in both places I was a teaching assistant and a teacher and a lecturer. I taught at NYU as an adjunct professor. I'm very different from an ordinary politician, and that's an asset. Political experience would have me in the category of politicians who have a 5% approval rating inside the Congress these days, because they immediately, because the kinds of people who seem to usually run for office are A, corporate funded, and B, are corrupt with respect to their basic oath to defend the Constitution. I've been in debates this last month where every single person on the debate team, everyone who's not a sitting senator, says, of course the NDAA, indefinite detention law, is unconstitutional. It's obvious to 100 people in any room of 102. But our senators, both of our Democratic senators in Congress, voted for unconstitutional. A judge just ruled it unconstitutional earlier this week. That's the kind of corruption that I'm immune to. I'm a scientist. I'm a logician. I'm a computer scientist who tells the truth. And the last thing I'm going to do is to lie about what's constitutional the way that the people who are in there now do.
Because you're not a career politician.
Exactly. I'm doing this to replace the career politicians with people we can trust.
Well, it would seem to me that somebody with a PhD from MIT can understand a lot of complicated legislation as well as today's technology, which a lot of legislators don't.
Exactly. We had a debacle where SOPA and PIPA and now CISPA are being endorsed or amended, and I mean it's both as technology it's obscene, but also as constitutional affront, warrantless surveillance, it's obscene. And you know, our internet privacy. I've had businesses. I'm a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, and have been. The whole industry that I work in understands so much better what's going on with CISPA and such than Boxer or Feinstein seems willing to let on, and they've been letting us down. And we need someone who actually understands these technologies as well as someone who's going to respect the Constitution.
Aren't a lot of these laws like the ones you just mentioned, CISPA and SOPA and so on, aren't they written essentially by lobbyists for large corporations, and they take away our freedoms more than anything else? Exactly.
And that's why the internet was blacked out during the SOPA and PIPA event, because it was such an affront to everyone in the industry that they would be able to pull the plug if that law passed. And thank goodness that Silicon Valley stood up and made sure that it's polite to say that the politicians who passed it are out of touch. What they really are is power hungry and contemptuous at best, indifferent at best, contemptuous at worst of our Constitution.
Would you say that access to medical cannabis is a basic human right?
being able to get the medical treatment that you want, I certainly consider it a human right. Absolutely. And certainly when you go to an event where people are lobbying for their right, for their own medicine, it's a private decision. It's when people try to close a club and they look at a surveillance camera and say, oh, these people look too happy, or these people I don't know if these people could really be sick. They're really doing the Terry Schiavo argument. They're really saying, oh, a policeman should diagnose these people, not their doctor, and we should limit their care to what the policeman says. That's obscene and corrupt, and just a power move of politicians and policemen. Sometimes in my good works with children, I say, hey kids, who should decide what medicine you have? A lawyer, a doctor, a politician, or a policeman? And the kids all say, oh, I know, and it's not the politician or the policeman, because they know. These politicians pretend they don't know, and it's an affront to the American people. And yes, they're denying us a basic medical right.